of animals. And this is a real Jurassic Park.
Not changed for over 200 million years.
Yeah, let's eat a little intimidating.
Ouch.
It's pretty unreal. The bike tour is a good idea.
More in the ready position to move. Makes me want to just keep my eyes on them.
They're actually not all that interesting. Pro tip and book a late spring or summer trip when mating season is in full effect. They don't have vocal cords, so they suck air into their lungs and blow it out in bursts. The females know.
They can stay from anywhere from 1 to 3 years with the mother. She will defend them during that time. Staying near her, they move extremely quickly when they make a decision to go after prey. And they are...
It's their world, we're just living in it. So be smart. But what brings the polar bears to the mainland? They are hungry. If you're lucky, when you're out polar bear viewing, you may even get, well, most of the time. Every year, thousands of people... But did you know polar bear fur isn't actually white? It's translucent.
In my backyard, in my pool, I was freaked out.
Understandable. You probably...
Reptile eggs.
Sounds like standard fare for a monster.
Wherever birds breed and rabbits breed, they like living there. Male, swollen tail base. He's probably out cruising, either looking for food or a mate, probably both.
It is really something.
Oh, it's something, all right. Booming like a sunrise curtain call. All eyes are on the show. And what a show it is.
Within a mile or two of where they were bred.
For the others, well, there's always next season. Is the United States of animals. And this
They don't call it a traffic jam. They say there's an elk jam.
rut, mating, sending their mating calls echoing for miles.
The bulls bugle during the rut. It's kind of how they claim their ground and claim their lady.
All this fighting and harem building is hard work. Adult bulls show up in Estes creates a distinct smell that drives the ladies wild. It's like the original Old Spice. But his descendants still roam Estes Park, all vying for a top spot in the herd.
The stronger bull that dominates the girl.
Ultimately, it may end up being a fight to the death.
Gut-wrenching bellow from behind. Run for the hills. And if you're good enough to fool a stud, you'll win. Hands down.
Hard to beat how big they are. Biggest animal that ever lived.
Growing up to 100 feet long.
It's a whale-a-palooza. A lot of people think, oh, the blue whales are here in California,
Favorites, including a playful female named Delta.
It's awesome seeing Delta every year.
Something that clever dolphins can't pass up.
They are catching a ride from the pressure wave.
From the golden sands of California, we're heading east to the big city borough of Staten Island. And you won't believe how this nice New York City suburb became home to the original fast, reaching up to 55 miles per hour. They can also run 25 miles per hour. A turkey's feeling at the moment. But this game bird is much more than just the beaches that bobcats love. It's the barrier islands, 10 miles of lush maritime vegetation.
They're very good at what they do, and they're a lot better at avoiding us than we are at finding them.
Just slow down, sit down, and you'll see some amazing moments.
Is the United States of animals. And this may be one part Wile E. Coyote, with its cunning and speed. A little twist because chances are, their eyes are on you.
What danger is it to us?
They've met some hard-up suitors.
The few remaining male wolves had trouble finding branches.
They're suckers for stinky cheese. And that's not all. Trail cams have confirmed they're in Manhattan and the Bronx, too. For the faint of heart, in North Carolina's Pocosin Lakes National Wildlife Refuge. But these aren't your ordinary bears.
Here we frequently get.
So if you want to see one in the wild, there's no better place.
Did you hear?
Bears were once nearly gone from North Carolina.
I've been hearing a lot of weird sounds, and I'm just hoping that nobody shows up tonight. You know, no one.
Those are the basics, but be sure to check in with your park ranger.
Sophia, look at all these beans you left.
What is it? I don't know.
I heard some rustling of some leaves.
So come pay a visit to the feasting kings of the Pocosin Lakes Wildlife Refuge. It's exciting. A predator doesn't have to fly or climb to sneak up on these guys. So the Owl Festival, the place to go to admire these tunneling birds of prey. But looking at the big picture, other raptors, cats, dogs, and coyotes see a magical event that happens only twice a day. Just 20 miles south of San Francisco. It looks like meatloaf, but meatloaf doesn't move. The gum on your scavenger hunt list. All you have to do is wait until the next low tide. Is the heart of the jungle. A few places in the country to see them. In this neck of the woods, a renegade clan of rhesus monkeys. He saw a surefire way to boost ticket sales. Tui knew folks could, if there's food to be found, these monkeys will thrive. By the mid-70s,
creates a lot of lush vegetation.
That might be why most of Tui's tribe sticks to the shores of the river. But honestly, this is serious monkey business. This isn't a zoo. No one's making sure they have... Here's a pro tip to remember. Don't stare at a rhesus monkey. It's more than rude. And even though this band of wild monkeys live here year-round, Captain Tui's idea of bringing wild monkeys here wasn't the best. Almost 80 years later, these primates... Did you guess how far the sound of a wolf can travel? The answer is B. A whopping...
It's pretty incredible. You can actually see all the details of all four paws, the nails as well.
And so are we. Well, our pack is taking us to our overnight destination. The wolf, especially during a hunt. The stalking wolves test their prey. If they run, plan your visit in the winter. Time it with the herring run, when these big boys gather to feast. It's actually just a fancy name for something all kids learn in school.
They're nice, different from Brazil.
But Pier 39 didn't always have sea lions.
Sea lions, they were actually fine with that.
As a matter of fact, the entire city, it all boils down to size. Any horse under 14.2 hands is called a pony.
Everybody's excited. When the ponies hit the water and you hear that 50,000 people in their
your booty in a heartbeat. But on this island paradise, you won't even mind a bit. Wildlife in America. This is the United States of animals.
To see these big bachelor herds duking it out for the females.
There's only like 7,000 of these things in the whole state.
For most of the year, bighorn sheep hide out at elevations as high as 12,000 feet, 30 pounds. That'd be like carrying a 4-gallon water jug on your head.
It's called keratin.
Keratin acts like bubble wrap and cushions the blow. It's like the ram cells as males. Great odds, right? Wrong. There's just that's when things start to get ugly.
A ram can't actually look in a mirror and say, wow.
And then the gloves really come off.
They'll kind of start eyeing each other. So there's some head Victor is filled with a lot of pride because he knows he's the big dog on the block and he gets access to all
including these amazing eco-warriors. You see, kelp acts as the planet cost us if we ate like an otter for a week. The answer is C.
Not only is thriving, but we've been able to document at least 3 successful pups. Olive isn't just a celebrity. Sea otters spend a lot of time grooming. They don't have blubber like a dolphin or a sea lion.
You won't be disappointed. Well, the sea otters are...
So feeding hummingbirds is something that helps them tremendously on their journey.
To track and monitor their population and migratory patterns. You can have a hands-on experience at one of only about 100 hummingbird banding projects in the US and Canada.
Jumping out of the water onto the soft mud bank. They're huge.
These Atlantic bottle...
We have these salt marshes, and that provides us perfect, and they want the leftovers.
Can you blame them? This is the United States of animals. And this is
huge right there. See him right there? He's huge.
They're beyond huge. They're massive. They're there to give birth and breed. There's no time for anything else. And when all is said and 6-mile stretch of beach, and while the beach looks like it's total chaos, it's actually...
This is a lot worse.
Oh my goodness.
And you can't ignore the set-up house around their closest beach master. In this beachfront bungalow, but you've got a small window to catch all the drama. So, here's the deal. If you want to see 4 weeks, they'll balloon to a hefty 350. Thanks to Mama Seal Blancas.
Oh, somersault!
Because if these seals can survive the vast Pacific, peepers, the Romeo and Juliet of the whooping world. The record for the longest imprinting continues, but in stealth mode.
No idea what those wings are for, but they're holding them out because instinct tells them to do it. Must be such a revelation for them.
The weather's good, the winds are low, and the birds are coming.
Okay. The exact date, say it. Lovebirds.
Persistence paid off, and
making their way south, down through the Rocky Mountains.
Close enough to a moose where they lay their ears back, and if you see the hair stand up on the back of their neck, you're in trouble.
Is C, their milk. Mark this down as a true Southern California original. A grunion run. Their gills keeps the oxygenated water inside their bodies, allowing them to survive on land. Don't be late to catch a grunion. A true American original. Welcome to your field guide to the most incredible wildlife in America. This is the United States. You don't have to be a celebrity to get the red carpet treatment. Just book a VIP excursion in March. Spring, these wetlands are the prime spot for cranes looking to rest, refuel. But with all the grace and skill of a prima ballerina, it's more like Mother Nature's bird ballet. And with over Great Plains, that's just about the size of Alaska, Texas, and Florida combined.
We walk to the blinds in complete silence, and the birds...
But that crane cacophony is actually a key part of their communication. In fact, it's one of the ways migrating masterpieces are pros at singing, dancing, romance, and party with the Crane Trust next spring. It's like booking a trip back in time.
As Jane Goodall...
You'll get to see these iconic horns up close and personal.
Welcome to the Fort Worth herd.
But it wasn't easy in this new world, and the breed had to adapt to survive. But when did the school adapt the now famous hook 'em horns hand signal? The answer is C. Longhorns had to endure some serious natural selection to become the iconic Texas herd they are today. This is the deadly eastern coral snake. Look at it. Oh my God! And there's over 100. Come again? Turns out there's a rhyme to help you decipher the snakes that can kill you from the snakes that can't. Cats have been known to tweet and chatter to lure in unsuspecting birds. It's like that venom that's getting them lots of attention lately.
Their venoms offer a whole host
things for sure.
Of
these birds and their homes are a sight to see.
They're not just
to build your own purple martin paradise. First things first. Location. And experience some purple martin's majesty in your own backyard. But we aren't in Normandy. This is Delaware Bay, New Jersey. It's dangerous. Because this big mama is also an anchor in the sand and crashing waves. There's just 200,000 left, a whopping 90% drop. But nothing's hit the horseshoe crab.
Perfect.
They need rescuing because some of them were wedged pretty tightly in there.
And their arrival perfectly coincides with the horseshoe crab spawning. But when it comes to survival, once an egg is exposed to air, it dries out quickly and won't hatch. And those are the only ones. It's one life-saving tool that helps folks like you and me every day. Mated their blood and spawned a prehistoric alien. And if you don't like being watched by a hawk, when you've been around 450 million years, you deserve some respect. Because that's what these birds are built to do. Just look at those powerful legs. Ironclad hooked beaks. There's a pecking order. On average, the ladies are 33% larger. These fierce raptors seem to understand there's no I in team. At least here in the Sonoran. And here's a little pro tip. Don't put Junior on your shoulders.
Every now and again we just don't see those numbers anymore.
That's because the monarch population has dropped 90%. And in North America, there's 2 main populations of monarchs heading south. And to join these guerrilla gardeners, all you need are milkweed bombs.
The mystery and the magic of the monarch butterflies here in Pismo Beach.
And sleeps as much as 18 hours a day, making the odds of seeing this big cat slim.
And
that's a surefire pro tip that you're on the right track.
The real key
and spread the word. This ghost cat's not a predator on the prowl, just a feline on a mission to survive. And this is a batnado. A whirlwind of the fastest flying bats on the planet. And when they think your commute is bad, when these bats head out at dusk for an all-night feast, there are so many before flying to Texas for the spring. And the Lone Star State is certainly accommodating.
Primarily on agricultural pests in the area. So that is a really big economic service for the local farmers.
And on any given summer night, you can join the locals to see a mini batnado on Congress Avenue Bridge. Stand out overnight to terrorize the local insects. The bats roost here from March to November. Where we're off to next might make you think twice about when you head to the ocean this year. Tens of thousands of them, just yards from shore. Peak tourist season in summer. Hoping to keep a respectful distance? Wait till you hear the findings from Stephen's aerial survey. Don't worry about that hook. Sharks are remarkably good healers. And that's not their only amazing skill. Or near diving birds. Both mean there's fish in the water. And maybe a feeding frenzy. Way better.
There's the shark. Is it another one?
Yeah, there's another one.
On their nest, and they've become a reality television show that people tuned into.
So Tom takes to the sky and puts on an air show that's out of this world.
We call it sky.
Here's a pro tip. Mid-dance, ospreys can soar 600 feet up as Tom and Audrey struggle to get these kids ready for the real world. Because by the end of August, believe it or not, scorpions are actually always glowing under normal light. So take a tip from the pros when you're in town.
It's always a smart thing to shake out your
desert
clothes
and bask in the glow of these misunderstood creatures of the night. And this is Thunder on the Plains. Big enough to handle a raucous bunch of bison. So, a posse of the most daring cowboys. And so do you. Because the only thing between you and these thundering modern-day mammoths, by 1890, overhunting decimated the buffalo, with less than 1,000 roaming the plains. In other words, no buffalo selfies. But if you do find yourself up close and personal, the bison hold about 1,500 buffalo. So to make room for new calves in the spring,
they're just getting too big and too dangerous to deal with.
The time has come. 1,500 bison busting a move.
It's incredibly dangerous. Those cowboys got to be able to control them.
Only keeps the most fertile of bulls. Billy's number could be up. And like Pavlov's dog, the eagles know to be our nation's iconic symbol. Why? The answer is A. Work ethic flaw. Bald eagles can go talon to talon with the baddest of the birds. Fish is worth fighting for.
Sometimes one will have the fish, 6 eagles will be
fully operational pack trains in the country, where a burly burro keeps on trucking.
Mules are large, they're strong, and they're agile. I prefer
Fred and the team are ready to hoof it. But this trail run is bumpier than expected. Pounds of supplies 4.5 miles through rocky, unstable terrain isn't exactly a cakewalk. And this fat cat won on a platform that promised a mouse in every pot. A lifetime. And according to Stubbs, there's only one law of the land.
No dogs allowed in the store.
Is the Florida manatee. Mega mammals that swim with effortless grace.
Big Bend is a coal-fired plant, so we bring cold water in to cool piping to create the steam to generate.
In fact, that's the secret to their amazing maneuverability, are critical to the survival of the Florida manatee. There's only 5,000 of them left, and most have horrific. At about 10 feet long, 500 to 1,300 pounds. These big boys
like fingers that can actually articulate different parts of the lip to help them feed.
Manatees spend so much time digestive tract. It can be almost half the length of a football field. Big Ben's man-made manatee hot tub. One thing's for certain, you should keep your distance. Manatees and find out everywhere they're swimming, so they can tell boaters where to be careful. Pollination. They help us grow 1/3 of what we eat. Yet these insects we depend on are dying off in droves. With the bees chilled out, we'll show you what goes on inside. Then, and one queen to rule them all. Yep, a beehive runs on girl power. And when you stroll through the gardens, take a tip from the pros and look close at the flowers. You won't just see honeybees.
All of the vegetables you see here were harvested this morning from the garden.
What is your man?
So we're gonna.
Hello! What do you have to say to us? He's too busy eating.
A year later, New Yorkers first started seeing parakeets in places like this is like an insulated condo with shared body heat from all the residents. From the days of the Wild West in Oatman, Arizona. Donkeys are here in the first place.
The burro. It is a beast of burden, so they were really popular.
Do as the donkeys do. Kick back, relax, and let your cares drift away. This is the United States of animals.
North and South America.
These are the real heavyweights. The biggest of the biggest bulls can tip the scales. It didn't take long before they were wiped out by early hunters and disease, and thought to be gone. Even a dozen. But 100 of these giants will take to the skies.
They're screaming for a release, and it's...
Each of these containers can hold up to 7 adults at roughly 2,000 pounds. So several tons of bison should be a breeze. A destination chosen for good reason.
We surveyed the whole state.
And so we brought the kids out to experience the bison. Our journey here was 57 miles.
This temporary pen is a strategy to allow the bison to get acclimated to their new digs. A hair-raising comeback. The answer is A, Arkansas State, home of the Howlin' Red Wolves. Retriever. The red wolf. These nocturnal predators are shorter and slimmer than their infamous gray cousin. It sounds like the red wolves are all around you. You just can't see them. Come celebrate this resilient species deep in the forests of North Carolina.
Here as if almost they know how lucky they are.
When threatened, they will throw up on you. And take it from us, you don't want to be on the...
When they find a carcass that's been shot with lead, it just is a recipe for disaster.
The fox are easy to find. In fact, they'll probably find you first. The Channel Islands fox was on the verge of extinction. More than 90% of the population was wiped out.